Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another intense episode of Nothing But Build Up. Don't get me wrong, I'm actually really hyped right now, but we mostly saw nothing but setup for the future and nothing actually wrapping up altogether, if that makes sense. And plus, people say that build up is some of the best parts, so let's take a look. We start where we left off with Mira dragging Bran through the snow, and somehow she gets tired, and the tireless zombies that don't need to eat, sleep, or rest manage to catch up with her. I don't know. Weird. So, didn't see that one coming. Bran is stuck in his visions and is not much of help. Not that he really would be much of help, regardless. But these visions are actually really important. So I'm gonna take a little side note here. One specifically jumped out that I'm pretty sure to everyone, and it was of the Mad King with wildfire. He was yelling, "Burn them all, burn them all!" And we saw the fire, sort of the green fire, wildfire burning through what looked like a place that we've seen before in King's Landing. Now, for those who aren't 100% on the history of the Mad King, let me remind you. Daenerys' dad was prone to fits of madness, and they progressively got worse and worse as his reign went on, because paranoid and psycho and just obsessed with fire. Specifically, he was obsessed with wildfire, which is the green one, and magic fire, and super duper extra hot. So when sometime after the rebellion started, mostly caused by the fact that he burned the Lord of Winterfell and made his son watch, which was Ned's brother. Well, things got a little fiery. Jaime Lannister actually revealed to us that the Mad King was planning on burning the entire city of King's Landing to the ground. He had actually put little deposits of wildfire, like under the stables, just on every corner of the streets, and he was just wanting the whole place to explode, and he was somehow going to be reborn from the flames as a dragon.
Then he turned to his pyromancer. Burn them all, he said. Burn them in their homes, burn them in their beds. Tell me if your precious Renly commanded you to kill your own father and stand by while thousands of men, women, and children burned alive, would you have done it? All he kept saying. Burn them all. I don't think he expected to die. He meant to burn with the rest of us and rise again. Reborn as a dragon, turn his enemies to ash.
So, burn them all was something that he said quite often and over again, especially while he was dying. He kept saying, burn them all, burn them all. So much so that Jaime actually had to slit his throat after he'd already stabbed him in the back just to get him to shut up. Now, we've seen this now happen before where somebody was repeating something over and over again while they were dying, quite recently, in fact. So, there's a possibility, did something else get messed up in the time-space continuum? Does Bran have another goof, to where he accidentally possesses the Mad King to some extent? Maybe in the future when he's still training for his visions, which we may see here soon enough, when he sees the Mad King, maybe something goes wrong, and he's responsible for that too. So, another thing shown in that same vision was that wildfire burning through that deposit or the storage of the wildfire. Now, this is important because it hasn't happened yet. This hasn't happened at all. So, I mean, are we getting kind of a hint of the future? Is this going to happen? I mean, if they didn't take down all of what the Mad King had set up, all of that wildfire, and then all of that wildfire that they still had after the Battle of the Blackwater. If any of that were to go wrong or explode, then that would mean that all of King's Landing would fall. Specifically the city.
The contents of this room could lay King's Landing low.
So, I mean, Daenerys' dragon accidentally, well, not accidentally, but if one of his bursts of flames sets off a chain reaction that could actually kill everyone in the entire city, and there might not be an Iron Throne anymore. So, overall, a very telling few seconds. And, yeah. So then, Cold Hands, as if you will, makes an appearance and saves Mira and Bran. We'll see them again later on. So, moving on, Sam and Gilly are heading to Sam's home. Now, we haven't really seen Hornhill at all in the show, or Tarth, which is where Brienne is from, and that's all in the same area. So far, it looks really nice. And, I pictured Sam having a decent keep. They talk about it. But no, yo, this is your boy Sam. Welcome to my crib. That's kind of what happened. And it was pretty intense. It was kind of ridiculous how nice it was. And his mom is gorgeous and nice. And his sister is super sweet too. What is happening? He just had this perfect life, and it kind of sucks that he was forced to leave it. Also, it is kind of a little sad because, that's not the real little Sam. It's just fake little Sam, and, she thinks that's her grandkid. I don't know. I thought that was kind of sad. And in the meantime, they take Gilly and dress her up, and she's like, what the fuck is a dress? I don't know. I expected a better transformation, for her to come out, like teen rom-coms, and I expected her to come out in, the sexy dress and, there'd be a wow moment. But no, she looks really, really awkward, and the curls are, super big, and she's waddling around. It was funny. But it was still sweet, so, whatever. Cut to Tommen, who is still getting brainwashed, and look, I had a hard time understanding the scene, because at first it seems like Marjorie is just playing her part right, being the innocent one, walking around barefoot. Well, I think they would have forced her to walk around barefoot regardless, but I thought she was just trying to tell him a secret ploy, just give off a certain message with what she was saying, but the JK never came. She wasn't joking. She was very serious. And at the end of the scene, it just cuts to, Tommen is still gobbling it all up and taking it all in and talking about atoning for their sins. There wasn't really a clear division of whether or not she was just being Marjorie, because the people could hear her, talking, and maybe, she didn't want them to hear anything other than what she wanted them to hear. We'll talk about that a little bit later on when we see them again. It's very confusing to me. I'm not sure what Marjorie is doing here. Back to Gilly, who is apparently not very good with forks. So Sam's dad is, extra angry all the time. And we see Sam's brother, who is, you can understand how hard it would be to have that as your brother when you're, Sam, and have to live up to that. And Sam's dad just fat shames him in front of everybody, and with the whole bread thing. But to be fair, this has actually happened to me, where go up for seconds, and my mom's like, Iha, don't you think you've had enough? And
my God, I've been fat shamed by my mother.
Well then, regardless, they mentioned the whole becoming a maester thing, and check this out. They didn't really, this was in the books. Sam tells Jon that he had actually told his dad when he was younger that he wanted to become a maester, and his dad said something. Hold on, I have the quote. They make you wear a chain about your neck. If it is chains you want, come with me. And then he chained Sam up to, like, you know, hand and foot to a wall and kept him there for 3 days and 3 nights, which, you know, is the best reaction when your kid tells you what they want to be when they grow up. But it was so bad that it traumatized him, which is why he was not really about becoming a maester. That, you know, now, even though that's all he's ever really wanted, it's the ideal job for Sam. So, you know, yeah. Then Gilly drops the ball and reveals where she's from, that she's from the wrong side of the wall, and Trump supporter Randall just immediately starts flipping out, and Sam is having a panic attack in the background, and Randall just has no chill. Like, he called her a whore, like, twice. He called her an it, which is, my gosh, you know? Like, Jesus, Randall, calm down. Which is pretty much what Mama Tarly says, and she takes Gilly out of there, comes in with the rescue. And honestly, Gilly nails so much of what I believe in with one sentence.
I'm angry that horrible people can treat good people that way and get away with it.
So true and really sad. So, whatever. The dad does mention Heartsbane, which is the sword made out of Valyrian steel. So at this point, I'm thinking, like, oh yeah, Sam's probably going to come back and do something heroic, maybe save his brother, and then he'll wield Heartsbane and kill White Walkers. Because remember, Valyrian steel is one of their weaknesses because it's, like, made from dragon fire. I don't know. But no, Sam jumps the gun and steals Heartsbane right then and there. Why, though? It's not really part of Sam's character to do such a thing, which means that we might be seeing that sword come into play with some pretty important stuff pretty soon. I'm not sure what exactly, but I think this is not obvious. I mean, obviously, this is not the last we're going to see of Heartsbane, so it should be good to see for some slaying later on. Cut to Arya, who is busy laughing, thoroughly enjoying reliving Joffrey's death over and over again. But then the acting got so good that it had her feeling some type of way. She's moved, and you can kind of see her looking at the victim, her target, and you can just tell that she just believes in justice too much. She believes in righting wrongs, and she can't deal death in an unbiased way. And we knew this all along. It's impossible for her. Then she starts bonding with the character, or with the actress, her victim, which is never a good idea. Real recognizes real, you feel? This whole scene, I think, speaks to actors everywhere. I feel like every actor has met that director that is a creative genius and casts himself as the lead in all of his plays and just talks down to everyone. And that's kind of what this scene made me think of. And then, bam! I called it. Needle is back. Arya is back, and she is a Stark, and I knew that bitch had a personal vendetta against Arya. I knew it. The ultimate face down is about to happen here, probably next or the next episode. Ronda Rousey versus Holly Holm, round 2. And we all know what happened to Ronda Rousey, so that'll be awesome. And then now we have the Tyrells, who, okay, so you would think, my voice cracked, you would think that having an army behind you and sitting on a horse all majestic and wearing armor that is very fancy would somehow make you look like a badass. But Lord Tyrell manages to look really pathetic and sound extremely lame at the same time. I don't know. it was just kind of cringy. They push their way to the front, and man, there's so many people there to see this walk of shame. They just want to see them titties. And, no, they were denied. But not by Team Lannister. No. The High Sparrow plays his trump card, kind of. Okay, this is the thing. So if Marjorie's playing along to free herself, if this was her plan, the only issue with that is Tommen truly believes this stuff. I mean, he's innocent and he believes what you tell him. And I mean, there's not really coming back from that. He is whipped by the faith. And so this is really problematic, because even if Marjorie is just doing this to get her and her brother out, then she's going to be kind of screwed whenever, they realize it. Plus, they'll probably be really pissed at her. And then worse, if she is actually saying these things and believing these things, then we have Marjorie turned fanatic, which is... no. Either way, it's pretty bad. And Jaime is pissed. And he has a right to be, because that's his kid who's, kicking him off of the Kingsguard. Like, Tommen, please. Please, bro. Like, stop. It's just ridiculous. Then we check in with the creepier contender for Westeros's least favorite pedophile. The main thing to take from this is that Edmure Tully, Catelyn's brother, is back in play. They're going to send him to Riverrun to negotiate, which doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, sure, let's send our hostage deep into where he'll be surrounded by the enemies that want him and could probably just overpower whatever force you send and take him. I don't know. It's just, it's stupid. I'm not sure how that's going to help with anything or where they're even going with that. I mean, Edmure wasn't ever really that important. It was mostly just his title. So unless they're going to murder him in front of the Blackfish, and that'll in turn lure the Blackfish out of his turf and make him act stupid, I don't know. I don't see this boding well for the phrase, which is cool by me because, fuck those guys. So, and then to one of the big moments of the episode, they reveal Benjen Stark, which we have all sorely missed. He explains how he is kind of part White Walker now. I don't know, which is weird and sad. His hand is like black, I guess from frostbite. The important message in the scene, besides Benjen, obviously, is that Bran is the three-eyed raven now. Benjen tells him that he needs to learn to control his visions so that he can have a face down with the Night King. But literally, why? Like, unless Bran wargs into a dragon and takes control of the dragon and then rides against the Night, I don't see how Bran can help. Like, okay, I get it. You can see the future and you can see everything. But what does that do except, what does knowledge do when you're battling a giant guy with a giant ice sword? I don't understand. So, unless he finds wisdom in his visions that'll somehow help his teammates win the fight, I don't know. I don't know. And that's probably what I'll do between this week and next week, is really, really take a look at Bran and sort of what his potential is, and do predictions for that, because I want to know. I don't understand. And finally, my favorite contender for the throne, Daenerys. They immediately talk about ships, and how many do they need? 1,000? I wonder who we know who happens to be making 1,000 ships exactly as we speak. So, that pretty much cements the idea of Euron Greyjoy and Daenerys meeting up and working together to Maybe not even working together. She might just kill him and take his ships. I don't know. But most likely they'll be working together to conquer Westeros. And then the big moment of the episode, we see Drogon back again. And God, he's bigger than ever, like huge. And she gives like a Braveheart speech to rally the troops. And they're all hyped up. I am hyped up. It's all lit with the Dothraki. I cannot wait to see Drogon kick ass. Like, this is dragons. This is so good. Also, speaking of dragons, where are his brothers? They like unchained them and then just left them there. What? Like, did they just stay in their cage? Like, what happened? So, I think that we should be seeing a brotherly reunion there with the dragons, especially since she is heading to Meereen next, which should be interesting, especially now that she's got a giant dragon. Still to come this season, we have 4 episodes left in the season. We should be expecting a war for Winterfell, which will include Riverrun, the Vale, the Karstarks. We'll see them back again. I think that's going to happen this season. 4 episodes left at this rate. Yeah, I think that might be where the season finale is going to. Religion versus politics will be going down in King's Landing. That's also big. And then Arya versus Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. As well as some training for Bran and Sam. So we'll see how far we get in this season. Anyway, those are my theories, my predictions, my musings. I hope that this was informative. If not, at the very least, a little relatable. You can feel free to drop a like if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe if you want to see more next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. So, yeah, I will see you guys next week. Bye! Bye!